The sun of the Middle Pleistocene is an anvil. It beats down on the savannah, forging the heat minus shimmering air into a weapon. For the clan, a small band of 20 Homo erectus, this is the rhythm of existence. The great, silent drum to which their lives are set. An old male, his brow a heavy shelf of bone, chips patiently at a piece of flint. The sharp flakes fall around his feet, each one a testament to a thought process that has been refined over nearly 1,000,000 years ago. This is the art of the AQ lean hand minus axe, a tool that is both butcher's knife and skull minus cracker, the very emblem of their grip on this world. Nearby, two females groom each other, their fingers picking through thick hair, reinforcing bonds older than any language. The young chase lizards in the dust, their shrieks sharp and fleeting. This is the unremarkable pulse of prehistoric life, a fragile equilibrium of hunger, vigilance, and fleeting comfort. The world is as it has always been. But then, it changes. It is not a cloud. The sky is a vast, empty blue. The change is in the quality of the light itself. It thins, losing its golden weight, becoming a strange, silver minus grey. The cicadas, whose drone is the very sound of heat, fall silent when they run. Then, in a great cascade, they stop. The silence they leave behind is a physical presence, a pressure on the ears. A small herd of antelope in the distance freezes, heads up, nostrils flaring at a threat they cannot smell. The birds, busy on the acacia thorns, cease their calls. The world is holding its breath. The old matriarch, her face a roadmap of scars and survival, is the first to feel it. She rises slowly from her haunches, her deep minus set eyes scanning the horizon, not for reliant, but for the reason. This is not the quiet of dusk, nor the stillness before a storm. This is something other. Her unease spreads through the clan like a cold wind, a shared, unspoken signal that is central to the history of all early humans. The tool minus maker lets his flint fall. The grooming females pull apart, their eyes wide. The children abandon their games and run to their mothers, burying their faces in the familiar scent of hide and sweat. They follow the matriarch's gaze, turning their faces to the sky. They do not know what they are looking for, but the instinct, the deep, animal certainty that the universe has tilted on its axis, is absolute. They are a community defined by shared threads, and their response is to draw together, to shrink the distance between bodies, two from a single, multi-minus-headed creature of watchfulness. They look to the sun. It is the source of all warmth, all life, the one constant in a world of vicious uncertainty. It is their god, though they have no word for it, and it is wounded. A sliver of impossible blackness is eating it from the edge. It is not being covered. It is being consumed. A low moan escapes one of the younger females, a sound of pure, primal dread that gives the clan's fear a voice. The world is not just changing. It is breaking. The world accelerates into strangeness. The silver minus grey light bleeds away, replaced by a bruised, violet twilight that belongs to no known time of day. A cold wind, born from the sudden temperature drop, snakes across the savannah, raising goose flesh on unprotected skin. It carries the scent of dust and dread, the shadow of the moon, a vast, rushing stain of darkness, consumes the landscape. The clan watches, paralyzed, as the last sliver of the sun vanishes. The moment of totality is not a gentle fade. It is a slam, aid or to the universe closing. Where the life mine is giving all once burned, there is now a perfect, terrifying black hole punched into the fabric of the sky. Around its edge shimmers a ghostly white fire, a crown of ethereal tendrils reaching out into the unnatural darkness. Stars, cold and impossibly distant, glitter in the mid-minus afternoon sky. The world has been turned inside out. This is not night. Night is familiar, filled with the sounds of hunters and the hunted. This is an absolute void. The clan's response is a single, convulsive movement. They collapse inward, forming a tight, shivering knot of bodies. The young are pushed to the very center. their whimpers muffled against their mothers' bodies. The matriarch is the core, an unmoving anchor of petrified authority. This is the fundamental equation of hominid survival in the face of overwhelming terror.
Filled with grit,
The community becomes a single organism. The individual melts away, subsumed into the desperate warmth of the group. Their vulnerable bipedal stance, usually an advantage for seeing over the tall grass, now only serves to expose them more fully to the horror above. There is nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. They can only press closer. A fortress of flesh and bone against the death of a god. An altruism ball of shared extinction tightens their grip on one another. The old tall Minus Maker rests his heavy Minus-boned hand on the shoulder of a young male shaking uncontrollably beside him, a simple, grounding gesture in a world unmoored from its foundations. Fear this profound cannot remain silent. It needs an outlet, a shape. The matriarch, her face turned to the black sun, lets out a long, guttural moan. It is not a sound of pain, but of profound, bewildered sorrow. Another elder joins her, then another. Soon, the entire clan is vocalizing, a discordant choir of dread that rises into the chilling air. This is not language. It is a pre-Minus linguistic ritual. The first desperate attempt of human ancestors to answer the terrifying silence of the cosmos. It is an act of intelligence, a refusal to be merely a passive victim by making a sound together. They assert their existence against the encroaching void. They are here. They are afraid, and they are together. They huddle and they keen, a small, fragile island of life in a dead, cold world. Their sound swallowed by the immense and sudden emptiness of the sky for a few eternal minutes. There is only the cold, the darkness, and the shared, rhythmic pulse of terror. It ends as violently as it began. A single, unbearably bright point of light erupts at the edge of the black circle. It is not the gentle warmth of the returning sun. It is a weapon, a shard of pure, white fire that lances into their dark Minus-adapted eyes, causing a wave of physical pain. The clan screams, a new sound, sharp and agonized. They turn away, burying their faces in their arms, in the earth, shielding their vision from the celestial blade. The light grows, splitting and shimmering along the edge of the disappearing moon, before the sun bursts fully back into existence. It is a blinding, chaotic rebirth. The world is flooded with a light that now seems too bright, too harsh. The shadows, which had been erased, leap back into sharp relief. The familiar is now alien. Slowly, shakily, the clan unfurls. They blink against the painful glare, tears streaming down their faces, leaving clean tracks in the dust and grime. The world is waking up. A lone bird, then a chorus, begins to sing again, a tentative, questioning sound that grows in confidence. The drone of the insects returns, stitching the silence back together. The warmth seeps back into the air, a physical comfort that feels like a pardon. The survivors of the Sky-4 look at one another. They see the terror reflected in each other's eyes, the shared memory of the abyss. They are not triumphant. They are hollowed out, trained by a fear too vast to comprehend. Their small universe of survival skills tracking. Napping, foraging is utterly meaningless in the face of such a cosmic event. They have simply endured. The matriarch rises first, her old bones creaking. She looks up at the sun, no longer with the casual acceptance of a creature living under its grace, but with a new, profound, and fearful respect. It is a power, a god that can die and be reborn, a force that can extinguish the world and then relent. This single event represents a fundamental cognitive leap for these ancient humans. The world is not just a place of lions and gazelles. It is a place of inexplicable, terrifying powers. She walks to a flat slab of limestone, the sun warming her back. Her eyes scan the ground, not for food, but for something else. She finds a chunk of reddish-brown ochre, soft and heavy in her palm. With a deliberate, steady hand, she grinds it against the pale rock, leaving a smear of dark red. She draws a rough circle. Then, using her finger, she smudges a dark space in its center. It is not an image of the sun. It is an image of the absence of the sun, the hole, the terror. It is the first star chart, an astronomy of fear.
Preparing to
It's
fight
not
back.
to guide,
This
but to
spirit of
remember.
resistance and
The clan gathers
problem-solving
behind her,
drives human
looking from the
evolution
crude
forward.
symbol to the sky, and a new kind of silence falls. It is the silence of a question being asked for the very first time. The mark on that stone is more significant to hominid history than 1,000 hand minus axes. It is an echo of the moment we stopped just reacting to the world and started trying to record it. To give our terror a shape, for countless generations across the sweep of prehistory. The scene was repeated. Groups of our ancestors, our human ancestors, huddled in the sudden dark, convinced the world was ending. That fear, that absolute cosmic dread, became a powerful engine of human evolution. It forced the mind to grow, to seek patterns, to create explanations where there were none. From that root era, the first myths were born, stories of sky wolves eating the sun, of angry gods who must be appeased. If you find meaning in these echoes from the deep past, add your voice to the chronicle, subscribe, and become a keeper of the flame. These stories are the ancestors of our religions, our philosophies, and even our science. Every complex equation that describes celestial mechanics has, at its ancient root, a hominid shivering in the dark, trying to make sense of a hole in the sky. Their eyes are inheritance. Their struggle to understand is the foundational act of our species. The birth of the mind that would one day leave the planet that terrified it. We are what we are because, on a day 400,000 years ago, the sun was eaten, and we were forced to wonder why. The story is in our bones. But sometimes, the monster is not in the sky. Sometimes, it wears a familiar face.